Hello, Think Keto family, welcome back. Today I'm going to walk you through how I make the absolute best ever low carb sandwich bread. If this is your first time with us, welcome. It's great having you. Consider hitting that subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming content. Let's get cooking, guys. Alright, let's get started. So before I jump into this, let me tell you that down in the description below, you'll find all the ingredients I'm using today and the quantity. I have been known to say something wrong or to miss saying the amount of what I'm using, so it will be written out for you there. And then at the end of this video will also be a nutritional breakdown with an online tool that I use that can give you an idea of what macros to expect from this bread. Alright, we're going to get started here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix all of our dry ingredients together in a bowl here. I got 1.25 cups of vital wheat gluten. Now, some people on keto say, vital wheat gluten, that's not keto. I guess it depends on how strict you are. Because technically, yes, it is low carb. So if you are completely strict keto, you may not want to try this recipe. But if you have just a little bit of laxity like me and my family do, this is a low carb bread. So you can have it, okay? And here I got 1/2 cup of oat fiber. I got 2/3 cup of flaxseed meal. I got a tablespoon of nutritional yeast. Now this isn't a requirement for this recipe, it is optional, but I'll throw up the numbers up here for you. It has a lot of great ingredients in it, so you might want to check that out. I got 2 tablespoons of your sweetener of choice. I have granulated monk fruit. Now it's up to you how much you put in this. If you don't want any sweetness to your bread whatsoever, you could put 0. I did not put any sweetener in one loaf of bread one time, or one, I guess, dough preparation. And my family noticed it and they were not happy with it. So I recommend doing at least something. You can put up to 5 in it. So try it out and see what you like. We like it right at 2 tablespoons. Different sweeteners though will sweeten differently. I got a teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt. And 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. And I do believe I heard that you can use guar gum instead of the xanthan gum. So that is an option for you if you have that on hand. Alright, we're going to give this a quick mix. Now, if you saw the bread recipe that I did, I'll link that up here, but if you saw that, you will notice that these are almost the exact same ingredients. Very true, however, the preparation is very different. Make sure you stick with me, I'm going to show you how it's done. This is a variation of Keto King's recipe. I got his originally and then made small changes to it to better suit our needs here. Alright, those are all mixed together, so I'm going to set that to the side. Alright guys, so the next step is we're going to proof our yeast. I have a tablespoon of instant dry yeast here. And the way I get this is I actually get it from Sam's Club. I get in two of these big packages at Sam's Club and I keep it in an airtight container. I am making this recipe every week, so we go through the ingredients pretty quickly, okay? So 1 cup of warm water, not hot because you don't want to kill your yeast, but you want it warm. If you want, you can stick it in the microwave for 30-45 seconds. You can wait for the tap to run hot, whatever you think. Alright, to this we're going to add a teaspoon of the honey. The honey is a necessary ingredient. I know people on keto don't like honey, but the yeast needs it. From what I understand, the yeast actually ends up eating most of this. And the rest of what's left over will be split over, 10 different rolls. So you don't need to worry too much about the honey content. You cannot substitute the honey out for an artificial sweetener. It does not work that way. I had to remind myself not to lick my fingers. I'm fasting today. And that would be a terrible way to break my fast early. Alright, into that I'm going to put a tablespoon of the instant yeast. And you'll notice the smell just coming up at you, that yeasty smell, which is great. Now, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can use a hand mixer for this. However, this will include 5 minutes of sitting there with the dough hook. And the stand mixers the little hand mixers, they do come with the dough hooks now. But you'll be standing there for 5 minutes. So if you don't have a stand mixer, I highly recommend it. This is not an expensive KitchenAid, $200-300 one. This is one I got, I think, for $50 on Amazon. It does the trick beautifully, okay? All right, into that we're going to add 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter, and I cut this up into small chunks. If you don't have time to let your butter sit to room temperature, I have been known more than one occasion to take the butter, stick it in the microwave for 10-15 seconds, whatever it takes to soften it up. It's not going to be the end of the world. Alright, Alright, next we have 2 eggs beaten. We'll put this in. Alright, we're just going to mix this on low for about a minute just to incorporate all the ingredients together. Alright guys, now that those wet ingredients have all mixed together nicely, I'm going to go ahead and put on my mixing paddle. You could have used this at the beginning, the other one was on it already, so that's what I used. I guess I just made more dishes for myself. Alright, we're going to pour in our dry ingredients in. I'm just going to give these a quick mix so that I don't have a huge puff of smoke when I turn it on. Alright, so now I'm going to mix this on low for about a minute. Alright, so that's all mixed together. I'm just going to clean off my mixing paddle here. And we'll switch this out for my dough hook. This is the part where if you're using a hand mixer, you're probably going to hate me a little bit because we're going to have this in here for 5 minutes on about medium-ish speed, okay? So I'll see y'all back in 5 minutes. Alright guys, it's been 5 minutes. I got a cup of tea. We're going to move on to the next step. So what we're going to do from here, get it off the hook if we can. Alright. So here is our dough. Beautiful, nice, stretchy, pretty dough. So I'm going to try and make this into nice little logs so I can cut this and get as even amounts of each one as possible. If you are strict keto, you will want to take this dough, weigh it, divide that by, in my case, 10 is what I'm planning on getting out of this, but however many you plan on getting out of it. And that number is what you're going to weigh each piece by to make sure they're the same size so you can accurately track your macros. I'm not that strict, but I know a lot of people are. If that's what works for you, do it, please. Alright, so I got a nice little log going on here. Alright, now we're going to divide this pretty little dough log up into 10 pieces, or if you want a different amount, or if you want your buns to be slightly different size, then just, adjust that to your needs. But I start off by cutting it in half. And I get 5 out of each one. Again, in my case, if these aren't all exactly the same size, it's not going to break my heart. Alright, that's 5 down. Let's do the same thing to the other side. If I notice that these are so off size that one's significantly bigger than another, I should take a little bit of dough from it, add it to that one. It's thickened. So when I originally started making this recipe, I was using this to make dinner rolls. Oh, it made the most perfect dinner rolls. Absolutely superb. However, that's when my wheels started turning. Well, can I turn that into sandwich bread? Because we were cutting the rolls in half and using them as sandwich bread, but that was just kind of smallish and tallish, and that wasn't quite fitting our needs. So I'm going to show you both ways to do it. You can make some amazing dinner rolls out of this, or you can make the absolutely perfect sandwich bread out of this. Let me show you both ways. It's pretty much the same thing, just shaped different. For the dinner rolls, I take a muffin tin, stick it in. I just make it to a little ball with my hands and just drop it in. So I'm probably going to just do like 3 or 4 of these. Oh, meanwhile, I should mention, behind me on the stove, I do have a pot of water boiling. You might want to make sure you get that boiling ahead of time, because I know that could take time. Alright, so those 4 in the muffin tin, and for the rest, we're going to put on a cookie sheet. Now, my cookie sheets and my muffin tin here, this set, I don't have a problem with anything sticking to it, so I don't put anything down first. If you have a problem with stuff sticking to yours, you can always line it with parchment paper first or spray it. I don't have that issue, so I don't worry about it. Alright, so just try and get these as roundish as I can. I'm sticking them on. And don't put these too close together on your cookie sheet, because what's going to happen as this is resting, these are going to spread out, and I mean, that's not going to hurt anything. It's just they're not going to be as pretty and as round. So that's why I like to make sure there's enough room between them. So if I'm doing all these sandwich bread like I do this recipe every week, guys. And if I'm doing just sandwich bread and no dinner rolls, then I'll have 2 cookie sheets going, because I know all these will not fit on one. Alright, so I got those all on there just like that. And the next step is we're going to get out cling wrap. Cling wrap is like my worst enemy. It always sticks to me and not what I want it to stick to. I'm going to try and get some. Not stuck to me. we go. We're going to just gently lay this on top. There, that one's covered. I'm going to do the same thing to my muffin tin. I can't be the only person that this happens to, right? Alright, so I got the muffin tin covered as well. And I just covered those 4. I didn't bother covering the empty holes because there's nothing there. Alright, now this is where your patience is going to become a virtue. I have no patience, as you well know if you've seen my other videos, but this is very important. So I told you I already had a pot of water boiling on the stove behind me. What we're going to do is we're going to put these in the oven to rest. I got my rack at my top rack at the highest setting, my bottom rack at the lowest setting, and the pot of boiling water is going to sit in between. Now the oven's off. You're not cooking right now. These are just going to sit in there to rest, and they're going to rise. But the pot of water is going to go on the bottom shelf, and that steam is going to come off. It's going to create a nice humid environment for these. It is a very necessary step. While I got one pot of water in there doing its magic in the oven, on top of the stove, I have a second pot of water simmering, get nice and hot, so by the time it's time to switch them out, I just take the one off the stove, put it in, the one that's in the oven, put it back on the burner. We're going to do this for 2 hours. So every 30 minutes, I got a timer set to go off. I'm going to come in here, take one off the stove, put it in, put the other one back on the stove. It seems like a lot, but really it's not. I promise you. It's very, very necessary. And this is, you know, I do this every single weekend, and there are all those chores I have to do also on the weekend, so it's really nothing but a thing. When the timer goes off, I come in here real quick, swap it out, and get back to doing laundry, doing the dishes, you know, cleaning, whatever it is I'm doing right then. So I got lots of stuff I gotta do. In fact, there's laundry calling my name today, so while these are doing their thing, I'll be in there doing laundry. Alright, so let me see. I'm gonna try and give y'all a good view of what I'm doing at the stove so you can see what's going on. Alright, now you can see what's going on. Alright guys, so to show you what I'm doing, there's a pot of water that was in there, and that's the one that was in getting hot on top. I'm just swapping them out. And putting these above it on the top. And that is it. We shut the door to keep the moisture in, and we wait. Alright guys, so that is it for now. I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes, and then I'll just switch out the water. I do that a total of 4 times, and then we're done. We'll move on to the next step. I'll see you in just a few. Alright guys, so I brought y'all in here close because I really wanted you to get a good eye on what these look like now. I did take pictures for you throughout so you can see how they were rising. And here's my muffins. And then here is my sandwich bread. And these will actually probably flatten out just a little bit more as they bake in the oven. Voila! Very nice. You see what they look like. They're not perfectly shaped, but find perfection and imperfection. So these we do not bake in the muffin pan, because then I guess they would just be muffins at that point, not dinner rolls. So what I do is you just gently, try not to handle them too much, lift them out, and I got a cookie sheet here with parchment paper on it. Just gonna put them on the cookie sheet. Alright, the less you handle these, the better at this point. And I got the oven preheated to 30 minutes. So all we're going to do is we're going to take these, we're going to stick them in the oven, and then it takes 15 to 20 minutes to cook these now. Your oven might vary a little bit off of what mine is, but usually I stick mine in for 20 minutes and they're pretty perfect, but check your starting at 15 minutes. Alright, I'll put these in the oven and I'll see y'all back soon. Alright, so these finally came out of the oven and they look absolutely delicious. They're really hot, so I can't really have them too much right now, but you can see Alright guys, so these are still a little bit warm, so I'm not going to cut them open yet, but you can see the difference in the sizes in them of the dinner rolls versus the sandwich bread. It's much more flat, which is just what we want. These are perfect for dinner rolls, or if you just want to toast them up in the toaster oven and put some, you know, butter and jam or something like that on them. But I will be cutting these open for you guys once they cooled off because they're just too hot to do that. It'll make a mess right now. But that's it. They cooked right at 20 minutes for me. Alright, we'll see you back in a few minutes once these have cooled off. All right, so these have cooled off nicely. I want to give you a quick look and see what they look like inside. And I gotta be honest with you, these smell absolutely terrific, and I would love nothing more than to spread some butter on these while they're still warm and just tear them up. But it's a fast day for me today, so no bread for me today, but I'll be saving these for tomorrow. But there they go. These little guys are absolutely gorgeous. So those are the dinner rolls. And the sandwich bread, it always comes out so perfect. It's nice and flat without being flimsy. It's got a good, you know, we use these for, a lot of times we use these for hamburger buns because these can really hold up to a real hearty filling inside them. You know, you're talking about peanut butter jelly, hamburger buns, anything like that. And there these are inside. Aren't they gorgeous? But perfect. My daughter takes one of these to school every day at lunch. You know, she puts some ham and cheese on them. And one thing you can do before you bake these, speaking of hamburger, is you can put like sesame seeds on top of them or some everything but the bagel seasoning. That's absolutely amazing. I like to leave our options open for more than just hamburger buns when I make them because we do use them a lot for sandwiches. And sometimes we don't want sesame seeds in our teeth when we're at school, am I right? All right, guys, but that is it for this. And I know this is a lot of work. I have tried many recipes trying to get the perfect rolls or buns, and so far these are the ones that have come out the best. Usually the best taste, best texture, best just all around quality to mimic, you know, the real bread that we can have when we're low carb and ketogenic. Now, if you have a recipe that will work out, please share it with me because these just take a while. They do have to set for those 2 hours in that nice humid environment in the oven to really, you know, set the bread for this. But it's worth it for me. I do it every weekend, like I said. I really recommend you try it at least once and you'll be hooked. Unless you, of course, you have a better recipe, then please share because I'm always looking for better recipes. In fact, I got one in the bread maker right now. One of my other subscribers, he asked for a coconut flour recipe for the bread machine, and that is not easy. Coconut flour does not like the bread machine, and I've had a lot of failures, but this one actually looks like it's turning out pretty good. Hopefully, if it does turn out, you'll be seeing that one soon because I know he's anxiously awaiting it with his new bread machine. Alright guys, that's it for today. Please give me a thumbs up if you found it useful, and also feel free to share this video with anyone that you know can use a good low carb ketogenic, you know, sandwich bread or bun recipe. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.